Hello everyone and welcome back to an update regarding the history of the line which we are working upon. As we've made it quite plain, we are modelling part of the Castleman's Corkscrew, the former Southampton and Dorchester Railway, at a location known as Horton Common, which you can see quite clearly by the big cross there. As we've stated earlier, the station before was Westmore's, and then the line goes off to the left through Verwood and then continues to Daggons Road, Fordingbridge, Braymore, Downton and on to Salisbury. And then if it turns off to the right, it goes to Ringwood and then down to Brockenhurst and then onwards Bewley Road to Eastleigh. And you'll notice on the map there from Ringwood that the line goes down to Christchurch. This was an extension which was built for the railway, and this opened on the 13th of November 1862. The whole line which we're discussing between Southampton and Dorchester actually opened on the 1st of June 1847, named after a solicitor in Wimborne who was a promoter of the line. Wimborne weren't too happy with Dr. Beeching with the closure of the line when it went through to Bournemouth West, as they'd already lost prior to this quite a bit of their Somerset and Dorset traffic coming off from Evercreech. This is from here going on up to Templecombe. So we are where we are today at the moment with the layout. As I said, we are using the line fictitiously Horton Common, just there, just outside Wimborne. We are modelling it as if it is an arable farming area. It's actually infertile and it's just a wide, vast open space of green fields, trees, and I must admit some pretty spectacular scenery. Now, getting back to the railway itself, Salisbury received its first trains also in 1847, where they had a line from Bishopstoke, which is now called Eastleigh, to Milford, which was south of the city, and that came into use on the 27th of January. And for passengers it opened on the 9th of March. The present day route to Salisbury was opened on the 2nd of May in 1859. The first branch in the area was to Lymington, which opened on 12th of July 1958. Then from Blandford up to Wimborne, traffic commencing on the 1st of November 1860, which was built by the Dorset Central Railway and operated by the London and South Western. However, this branch was destined to become part of the Somerset and Dorset. The London South Western only took over running it for a small time of 3 years. A further branch, as we said, opened on the 13th of November 1862 from Ringwood to Christchurch. Trains commenced running south of Salisbury on the 20th of December 1866 when the Alderbury Junction Westmore's section came into use. And the company had been incorporated in 1861 as the Salisbury and Dorset Junction Railway, when this was absorbed again in 1883 by the London South Western, who had worked the trains from the very beginning. In 1872, a branch from Broadstone to Poole was open. This was extended to Bournemouth West in 1874, but it wasn't until 1893 that the direct route between Southampton and Dorchester came into use. This followed the completion of the section between Lymington Junction and Christchurch, and between Bournemouth East and Branksome in 1888, and the Hulls Bay Curve in 1893. Now, what I also found out, which was quite interesting, was the traffic which was there. It says Wimborne had already experienced a reduction in passenger service, with most of the S&D failed to reverse there after the 1st of November in 1886, long before Dr. Beeching came and swung his axe and racked them off a bit more. However, this was because there was a more direct line that opened, but some of the Somerset and Dorset trains continued to use Wimborne route till 1920 and milk trains till 1933. What I did find most interesting on this bit was that the Ringwood Christchurch section of the Bournemouth First Railway was closed completely on the 30th of September 1935. So that was from there to there. That completely went. Now the other lines in this area which we're dealing with, they lost their passenger services on the 11th of May 64. Now that is when I thought the line shut, and I was always under the impression that it closed completely in 1967. However, I was wrong. Freight facilities were kept on at Ringwood, which is there. They were kept on until 1967. And then what really surprised me was they were also kept on at Westmore's till 1974. And finally, Wimborne, 1977. Now, I do know that there was quite a bit of traffic which used to go in and out of Westmore's. There was a short dock just the other side of the level crossing, which only housed two or three wagons, but it certainly saw a great deal of freight in that area. So it shows that there was plenty of produce and work going on if they actually kept this line open just for freight traffic. Now Verwood itself had a tile factory situated within its own complex, and that had gone. Now if anyone was going to keep a station open, I'd have thought it'd been Verwood. That is now an industrial estate. I'm saying there was a tile factory there, and there was also a lot of other businesses. Timber yards was another one. So it did see a lot of traffic. So to move all that from Verwood down to Westmore's must have been pretty inconvenient at the time. But it did at least keep the line open for a bit longer. As you can see, it's an awful long way round from here, down there, round there and there to Bournemouth West. No wonder they called it the corkscrew route, because it really is going round the most ridiculous way. Especially when you consider the line coming in from Brockenhurst down there, straight down to Bournemouth, through Christchurch, and also that bit from Ringwood into Christchurch. That's another part which surprised me of having closed. But as we said, we are doing the line ending here at Horton Common. Now we're going to have engines coming in, naturally, wrong way round. Some are going out tender first, but we are going to imagine that there is a little spur just between there and there. So in theory, we're going to have our engines, when they come off, the mainline engines, going to run out of Horton Common, off scene, and they are allegedly heading up to Westmore's to turn on the angle to come back round to be the right way round to face when they're going back to London. But if it's local work, then they'll just do top and tail. Simple as that. Well, no, not top and tail. I've got that wrong. They will be leading bunker first and tender first, not top and tail. So you will see some engines run round the train and go back out bunker first or tender first, and you'll also see some others come in, detach, run around, then disappear off scene, and then come back facing the other way. Well, that's why, because we're going to have this fictitious loop here, so you just have to remember that in your mind's eye. So that just about covers it. I hope you found that a bit interesting, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thank you.